One more thing that I wanted to mention is in the hook, you might have noticed that I have a little highlighted area here. So I use my scroll stopping techniques to craft different hooks. You can use them to craft headlines, email subject lines, the first line of your social media posts. I have these scroll stopping techniques in the bonus course, Elevate. You can go ahead and watch it. But just to give you a heads up, so for instance, here I'm using this technique inside of my blog post. So it's not for the title, I'm using it as a hook. In this particular case, I'm using the technique called Give Them Data. So I've included this little piece of data that kind of hooks people in. They see the numbers and they're like, what is that about? And that gives them kind of like the sense of there's a credibility added to the statement. For this one right here, I have two different techniques. I have one using your customer's own words. So for instance, this part talks about how many times have you heard others tell you that you need to start putting out content online to build an audience? How to build an audience you can actually sell to? That's a question that I often get from small business owners, experts, and leaders. You've probably heard this a million times from well-meaning people in your life. Start putting out content out there to build an audience. But what if you don't know where to start? So I'm using their own words, I'm using their own story. And then another technique that I'm using here is exposing the myth. So first thing first, when you want to build an audience, what not to do. So that's another kind of hook that hooks people in and they want to continue listening to your content or reading it. Another technique here, again, we're using their own words, your ideal customer's words. So as a small business owner or solopreneur, you're juggling too many things. You're a one-person show in many ways, even if you have a team. You know that you're the best expert in your company, so despite being an overwhelmed business owner, you already are, you still try to create content to market your business in your spare time, right? So again, this is the story that I've heard from my own ideal customers, something that they're struggling with. So I've included it right here in the hook. So my other ideal customers who are just coming across my content can be like, oh, she gets it. She knows how I feel. And then lastly, here's another technique, tell a story. So here I say, back in 2019, I left my full-time retail management job without another one lined up. I only had 2 months worth of savings in my bank account and a dream of working remotely doing something creative. Fast forward 5 years later, I work as a self-employed content strategist and producer and even created my own supercharged content system course. What happened between 2019 and now? How did I learn content marketing? And more importantly, how can you do the same? Let's find out. So as you can see, you can use those scroll stopping techniques in the bonus course to create engaging hooks that later this is going to become a hook for a video or a podcast. This is going to be a hook for the blog post. And if you make them engaging, if you use those tools and those tips, then there is a higher chance that your audience will stick around.